Hello, my name is Jon Skarpeteig. I am the tribe lead of the global platform tribe at Signicat, located in the Trondheim office, which is our headquarters in Norway, and everybody else is staying at home today, so I figured I'd stay at the office. Today I will share with you what it's been like building a platform within a hypergrowth company like Signicat.
So, who is Signicat? Signicat is a software as a service company. We have roots in the Nordics and Benelux. We are 400 something employees, and we offer a full cross-border digital identity journey. We're a high growth company to the point where Financial Times has put us on the top 1000 fastest growing companies in Europe for the second year in a row, which I think is very cool. So we are really a scaling company now. We're no longer a startup, and that means that the challenge that we have to solve is that of scaling. So number of teams are growing, meaning we then now are designing for team autonomy. We have to prove the software as a service economics of scale. So we're looking to reduce marginal cost by solving the customer problem once and selling it over and over again. And there we're doing bin packing with containers. We're doubling down on self-service. This is to streamline operation and in order for us to automate business processes. And we also have to reduce complexity in contracts. So we can no longer have individual customers with individual contracts. We have to standardize this in order for that to be feasible. We're also doing acquisitions, quite a few actually. So there we have to find a way to unify around a common platform. Because we need to do technical integration in order to really provide a coherent customer and developer experience. And we want to enable cross-sell and upsell. So we have to find a unified authentication, authorization mechanism so that if you log into the self-service dashboard, you will see all the products that Signicat has to offer with the same credentials, and then you can pick and choose from the full buffet of products that we offer. And one of the main products we have is that of authentication. So what we do there is that we act as sort of a brokering service towards a number of electronic identity providers. These are typically localized in specific countries. And they use a variety of protocols, some proprietary, some standards, and something in between. And we really take these into our brokering service and normalize these, expose them on OpenID Connect and SAML, like standard protocols. So if you connect to the standard protocols, you can use all of these different EIDs backing the service. Now, all of these integrations, there are a lot of work to do and to maintain. So we have now a microservice architecture to deal with that, so that we have separate containers for the separate EIDs, which enables us to split this work onto multiple teams. So we have different EID teams. We have the broker team that deals with the normalization and the bookkeeping that is relevant for all of these different EIDs. And then we have the service provider connectors, the customer connectors, where we have our OpenID Connect experts that writes this OpenID component. And we also have this concept of an M&A facade. So if we have an acquisition, they have an API already, they don't want to bother their customers too much, then we can put up the API facade in front and still leverage the full engine so that you do get access to all of the EID schemes with an API that you're used to from before. So around the product, that's really where the platform comes in. That's where we have the supporting services. That's where we have the infrastructure type of offering to fuel it all. Because we identified what we're calling a microservice hierarchy of needs. It's inspired by the Maslow's pyramid of needs. So at the very bottom here, we have the basic needs, and for a microservice, that means you need to have hardware, storage, networking, some sort of operating system on top there, and you need some place to put the code and the containers that you build. But above that, where the container platform is. That's where we have these properties with the self-healing. You can have an API gate, or we have an API gateway. We collect logs, metrics, traces. You have the autoscaler, and we have all of these things that makes dealing with microservices more pleasant. So at the very top there, that is really the things that is exposed to the product teams. They have to have a DevOps practice. They have to, run their own deployment, and they have to have containers that are stateless. Otherwise, you won't really benefit from the container platform itself. So it's about making the common things easy. That is not to say that we will not support specialist things. We absolutely do. But the golden path that is targeting the 80%, that is where we have the consistent technology and the shared tooling. And the platform itself looks like this. Kubernetes, of course, very important part of it. And we're leveraging vendors, typically cloud providers, for load balancing, for DNS. And inside of Kubernetes, we run a few key components. One of them is Istio. And for us, Istio solves two problems. First one is, of course, the technical bits. It's an API gateway, it solves the service mesh. But the second part is really that it serves as a boundary between platform and product teams. So platform teams, they maintain it, they install it, and really offer it as a service. But the product teams can configure it to really match their own service. So they can have the network policies, they can have the virtual service routing, and they can really go from start to finish without needing interaction from the platform teams to get the service up, live, and receiving traffic. And in order to accomplish this without teams stepping on each other's toes, we use something called the Open Policy Agent and Gatekeeper to write policies on what is allowed or not within the context of the namespace that the teams are in. Another key component here is the cert manager, because we do white labeling. Our customers, they can point their own domains to us, and then we terminate the TLS. We deal with the login flow before sending them to the customer page again. And with all of these domains pointing to us, we needed a way to automate issuing and setup of certificates. So for Acme CAs, this becomes quite easy. We can integrate natively with Cert Manager, and we can have a good process for dealing with certificates. And then the service, they output traces and logs, and then we collect these, and we're also leveraging OpenTelemetry as a standardized way of using that. So all of these three pillars of observability are combined again into Grafana. So Grafana really serves as the one window to see all of this data. And it helps also then to reduce the cognitive overhead that if you need visibility into the platform, go to Grafana, and there you have it. So the infrastructure side is not the only thing we do from the platform tribe. We also provide functionality that is required by many, if not all, the teams. One example of that is the billing engine. So the products, they typically emit like usage events that we use for analytics, and then the billing engine will pick out which events are relevant for billing, generate an invoice, send the invoice to our ERP system, and customers get billed. And we also want to limit integration with third parties. So in front of the ERP system, we have an API whose sole purpose is to essentially proxy requests back and forth to the ERP system, so that platform services or services running on the platform can interact with this internal API using the same token as they always do. And we don't really share the pain of integrating with various third parties. So it's the one team that does the integration that has to deal with the specialist knowledge of the third party system. We're also big fans of eating our own dog food. So the token factory that we use for the platform is the same one that our customers use for through the OpenID Connect. And we also have another very cool one, I think at least, which is the audit logging, because here Signicat has a product called Digital Evidence Management. And this is really about storing evidence. So all of records, they are timestamped with a qualified timestamped authority, and they're really protected and maintained in the best in class type of way, which is really becomes really powerful when I use combining that with as an audit log mechanism. So all of these product offerings that are really internal, we treat them as any other software as a service, which has customers, and the customers of the global platform tribe is really the other tribes, the product features tribes, so to speak, which are responsible for the product roadmap. The tribes, they're also location independent because we have development hubs in several European cities. And that means that we also need to advertise the internal offering. This is what we have, talking to our customers and figuring out what their needs are, and then ensuring that we can get this right. Because when building the platform itself, we've gone through a bit of an evolution, because at the start it was very collaborative. The platform teams and the product teams, they were really working together to get something up and running. And the platform guys could even go into the team, write the code for them just to get the job done. So really like a very hands-on support to get started. But then more and more teams were joining. It was no longer possible to be that close with all the teams. So it evolved into more of a guiding setup, where the platform teams would provide support and really be point people in the right direction, but not walk the path for them or together with them, so to speak. And then finally, the golden path. Now this is where we want to be. This is where we want to go. We want to remove manual intervention from platform, meaning iterate on documentation, processes, tools, so that it becomes self-explanatory, and that you're able to navigate the golden path all on your own, and not stray too far from it. You're still allowed to. It's not mandated. It's just made so easy and so available that you want to on your own, and it's the logical step. So where are we now? The house is built, the Signicat platform is live, and we have tribes moving in, and that means several large migration projects in progress, but we're not done yet. So the journey ahead is really about getting the remaining teams and tribes onto the platform. We have some acquisitions that are still in a sort of a grace period. They haven't started integrating yet, and we do expect more acquisitions to come that also need integration. And then, of course, it's about truly delivering a delightful golden path experience for all of the teams and tribes within Signicat. So if you have any other questions or comments or things around this one, I will be available on Slack today. So feel free to reach out, and I hope to see you there.